What is up, everybody? This is episode number 29 of ESO Recap. My name is Defatank. This episode is brought to you by Great Architect. We are a gaming community over at greatarchitect.us if anybody wants to check that out. Also have Elder Scrolls Online Guild that's playing ESO right now currently. I manage that. So if anybody wants to get in with the Great Architect Guild, you send me a message at Defatank. For tonight's episode, I've got Maglorify and Ops. Maglor, say hi.
Hey, people.
And we also got Ops. Say hello, Ops.
Hey, how's it going?
These two guys are going to be keeping an eye on the chat as we go through episode number 29, covering patch update 1.4 that just went onto the live servers this week. It's a pretty big update. I'm going to try to get through all the main points of what came out with 1.4, and also got a couple other little items we want to tell you about at the end of the episode. So if anybody does have any questions, if you can hold the questions towards the end of the episode, I'll get them then. But if you do ask a question, Ops and Maglor is going to keep an eye on that stuff, and they'll have your questions towards the end. So let's go ahead and get into 1.4. What came out with 1.4? First, Upper Craglorn. If you go into your map, go ahead and bring the map up in game. I've got the game pulled up now. We go into our map. We're going to take a look at Upper Craglorn. Craglorn normally was about 60% or so smaller than what you currently see right now. Upper Craglorn is about right there. Up. So you see it right there on the map. From that line up is pretty much what they've added, and that is called Upper Craglorn. It's got new delves, new quests, things like that, and I'm going to basically go over that, what they've added. So, first thing, northwest part of Craglorn is Upper Craglorn. The gate to get in is right there. You see that? It has 6 new group delves, 3 new group instances. It also has a new trial called Trial of the Serpent. It's called Sanctum of Phidia. That is the 12-man content, in case you guys don't remember what trials are. It also has a place called Dragonstar. That's a new town that they've loaded in Upper Craglorn. You can see that right up there. That is Dragonstar. And that also houses the Dragonstar Arena. If you go out to the eastern part of town and take the road up, from there you will see a place up there called the Dragonstar Arena. Now, what is the Dragonstar Arena? It is basically an arena. It is player versus environment, so you're playing against the AI. It has 10 different arenas that you'll fight through. Each arena has 4 waves of ads that will come through, and as you clear these ads of waves, it will light a brazier up, and that will let you know your progress on which wave you're on. Then you'll have a 5th wave that has a boss, or it may have a couple of bosses that spawn in, but you'll have ads that come throughout the boss fights and things like that. Very challenging stuff. It has 2 modes. You've got normal mode, which allows you to enter below veteran rank 14. So if you're below veteran rank 14, you can get into the normal mode of Dragonstar Arena. And it also has a veteran mode, which you must be veteran rank 14 in order to enter it. And so the Dragonstar Arena, it's also on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Defatank. You can go over to the I can't remember what the name of it is. Anyways, it's in the Adventure Zones. I think it's what it's called on my YouTube channel, Adventure Zones. And you will see Dragonstar Arena. I put up quite a few long video there with where we did Dragonstar Arena in PTS, so you can watch that. It's all time-stamped and everything for you guys to watch that. Also, there is a new crafting trait that has been added, and it's called Nirnhoned. Nirnhoned is the 9th trait that's in the game, and you can research it. You can get items in Upper Craglorn that has the Nirnhoned trait on it. You can take it to a table, research it. It can be applied to weapons and armor both. With armor, it will raise spell resistance. With the weapons, it's going to raise spell resistance and spell penetration. The necessary trait items can be found rarely in Upper Craglorn while you're harvesting, so whenever you're up there mining nodes, things like that, you can rarely get the Nirnhoned item in order to put the trait onto a piece of gear, but you do have to have that researched. And there is an achievement that if you research Nirnhoned on a piece of gear, like armor and weapons, you get a color for that as well. It's a reddish color. Next, larger delves. ZeniMax has increased the delve size in Bankerai, Reaper's March, and the Rift. They've made these much larger to have more monsters and more loot. So if you remember from Update 1.3, ZeniMax upped the delves in Cold Harbor, made them larger. The exact same thing going on with Bankerai, Reaper's March, and the Rift. All of those zones has been increased, and this is going to be a continuing effort in future updates, making all of the delves larger like this. Next, they've done grouping improvements. A lot of improvements have been made to multiple layered quests. ZeniMax has removed some of the number of layered for particular objectives in order to prevent you from being separated from party members. That's just basically their introduction step to trying to correct the big phasing problem that has been presented in the game since launch. So that's, again, something else that is ongoing, fixing the game, trying to prevent people from being separated so much. Next is going to be the PFX prioritization. Now, what the hell is that? We're going to pop back into game here real quick so I can show you where this is. And what that stands for is Particle FX. If you hit Escape, and then you're going to go over to Settings, you're going to go to Video, and then under Video, if you scroll down here, you're going to see Particle Suppression Distance and Maximum Particle Systems. These sliders can be increased or decreased, and basically what it boils down to, it is how far out your graphics card will try to render as many possible particles as it can render. It's going to start on your character and your group and things like that, and try to render main priority particle effects first, so that you can see, you know, whenever they throw that hill on the ground, you know that that's a hill on the ground that you can stand in, versus maybe a Dragon Knight's Cinder Storm or something like that. Depending on how you slide these things, you know, you may see that Cinder Storm right in the middle of you, and again, this is just an example, as opposed to a Cinder Storm that's way off away from you, you wouldn't see it because your particle FX is lower, and that's to help alleviate a little bit of stress on your graphics card to get a little bit better frames. So again, Escape, Settings, Video, Maximum Particle Systems, and Particle Suppression Distance is where that is, and it's basically directed on trying to help PvP scenarios and dungeons to help get better frames. New veteran rank levels. So they have increased veteran rank levels to veteran rank 14 now. We had veteran rank 12 with 1.3 whenever that launched. So with this update, whenever they drop Upper Craglorn, in order to accommodate the Dragonstar Arena, the new trial, the new delves, all this other stuff, the quests and things that they've dropped in, they've increased us from vet rank 12 to vet rank 14, and they've also lowered the amount of XP or veteran points required to go from 12 to 13 and 13 to 14. So it's going to level a little bit faster than, you know, it took you to go from 10 to 11, 11 to 12. Next, they've got new ability altering enchantments. So we're going to go over these, and they're very good, and these enchantments are basically enchants that affect abilities that you can select out of weapons. So any character in the game can pick up these weapons and unlock these abilities and be able to use these enchantments. These are new enchantments. They are weapons in the Dragonstar Arena, which have a chance to have the following enchants on them. 1, you've got Grand Healing. This ability now restores stamina to allies in the area. Next, you've got Cleave, which this ability deals bonus damage on the initial hit. Puncture, this ability heals the caster. Twin Slashes, this ability deals additional bleed damage on every tick. Poison Arrow, this ability increases your weapon damage when attacking enemies affected by Poison Arrow. And lastly, Destructive Touch, This ability deals more damage and costs less. So that's some pretty good little enchants that they've added in. And like I said, those come out of the Dragonstar Arena, and it's on weapons, and it is random if they will have it or not. Under fixes and improvements, and there was a lot of these. So I've just pulled some of the big ones out, starting with the Alliance War. The campaign Bow of Shadows. It was a veteran-only campaign. It has been closed, removed, and they've replaced it with another 30-day campaign called Azura's Star. So it's opened up. Next, they've increased the amount of points you earn when... they've increased the amount of points you earn towards campaign scoring when you are the underdog. So what does that mean? If your alliance is way behind in points, you're going to see a little buff that's going to come up over your alliance points, and it's an underdog bonus. So if you're way behind, like let's say that AD's got 40,000 points and we've got like 5,000. That's an underdog bonus, and we're going to get a big boost, 2 points, to try to catch us up a little bit so we can be competitive. Next, rewards for the worthy males. They now contain gold, and something else that I seen last night that is very cool. They also do not come in a container now. These items are just mailed straight to you, and the gold's attached to it, so you see the item. Just think of this just like what they done with the hirelings. They took that crate that you had to open from the hireling away, and they just sent the items straight to you. So that's exactly what they're doing with this. The end of campaign leaderboard rewards now contain items if you are in the top 10% or higher of the alliance. Now this is something that I found that's very interesting, and I want to make sure that everybody understands what this means for them. Let me go over this one more time. The end of campaign leaderboard rewards now contain items if you are in the top 10% or higher of your alliance. Whenever a campaign ends and it resets, you got your reward bonus based on, how you placed and everything else, like points wise, etc. They're now looking at the top 10% of your alliance. And if you're within the top 10%, so let's say there's 30,000 people in that alliance, that 10% of that is 600. So if you're in the top 600, that is if there's 30,000 people on that campaign, then you would get an item reward. Now under this, it says if you're in the top 2% of the leaderboard, for each alliance, you will receive a gold set item and an ability altering weapon. So that's the top 2%. If you are within the top 3 to top 10% of the leaderboard within each alliance, you will receive a purple set item. So it's a really good change, I believe, because it's going to focus, make people want to be on the top of these boards and really push for more and more points. There's some withdrawbacks that could be with this, but we'll see how it works out. But I think that's a good change to try to push people to get higher up on the leaderboards. They revised the terrain around all the keeps to reduce potential for pulling enemy friends onto keep walls using fiery grips and its morphs. And also, while you're within the walls of larger keeps such as Warden, the range of fiery grip and its morphs will be reduced. Next, the Hadaris campaign scoring values. They've been adjusted to the following amounts per scoring tick. So if you're on Hadaris, listen up. They've reduced keep control value to 5 points. They've reduced the resource control values to 0 points. They've reduced the outpost value to 3 points. And lastly, they've reduced the scroll ownership bonus to 10 points, and that is for Hadaris if you're on the Hadaris campaign. Also, the underdog scoring evaluation period in Hadaris campaign has been adjusted to every 2-hour intervals instead of 12-hour intervals. And lastly, one thing I thought needed to be mentioned was the fact about repairing siege weapons now takes 4 seconds instead of 6 seconds. Under art and animation, way too many things to go over in art and animation, but a lot of improvements, a lot of bug fixes, tons and tons of stuff there. Read the patch notes if you are interested in all of the art and animation fixes, but a lot of really good stuff and changes, improvements that they done there. One thing in particular, rocks and things like that, they look more realistic now. So, you know, things like that is just stuff that they've been working on, trying to make the game look even better than what it does already. Alright, as we always do with going over these update patches like this, we take a look at all 4 of the classes, find out what has changed with these. So there wasn't a ton of changes with the classes this go around, but there is some. So Dragon Knights, we're going to start with Dragon Knights. Everybody that's a Dragon Knight, listen up. Here we go. Ardent Flame, Burning Breath. The armor reduction debuff from this ability will no longer stack. Burning Embers, this ability's heal no longer stacks multiplicatively. I said it. When multiple player characters cast it on the same target. They also fixed an issue where Burning Breath number 4, Morph of Fiery Breath, wasn't dealing damage over time as it should. Draconic Power, Reflective Scales. They fixed an issue where this ability was charging magicka and stamina for each ability reflected, and reflected projectiles would occasionally not do any damage. Under Earth and Heart, Fragmented Shield, Obsidian Shield Morph. This ability now only deals area damage around the caster instead of all allies. So that's your Dragon Knight updates for 1.4. Nightblades, you're up next. Shadow Tree, Dark Cloak. This ability no longer stuns crowd control immune bosses when you are alone. Shadow Cloak, this ability is no longer removed by the following ticking damage abilities. And there's a lot of them. Listen up. Agony, Bat Swarm, Caltrops, Cripple, Entropy, Fire Rune, Necrotic Orb, Path of Darkness, Soul Tether, Trap Beast, Volley, Wall of Elements, and all elemental procs. So that's for Shadow Cloak. It is no longer removed by the following tick damage from all those I just mentioned. Siphoning Tree, Strife. This ability now always heals based on the initial damage caused instead of other attacks. Next up, you got Sorcerers. Only a couple things here for the Sorcerers. Under Daedric Summoning, Volatile Familiar, Unstable Familiar Morph. They fixed an issue where this ability was exploding twice. The damage has been set back to 20% of the caster's maximum magicka. Under Stormcalling, Streak, Morph of Bolt Escape will no longer affect more than 6 targets, which was resulting in a much larger amount of ultimate gain than intended. Templars, you're up next. Here we go. Dawn's Wrath. They fixed an issue where you could stack multiple copies of Purifying Light or Power of the Light, both backlash morphs, at the same time. Eclipse, they fixed an issue where the caster of this ability was being charged magicka every time a spell was reflected. Under Restoring Light, one fix for Restoring Light, Rite of Passage, you will now be immune to interrupt effects while channeling this ability. Next, under Crafting, and this is a pretty important one right here. Hopping back in game for crafting. We go under the crafting trees, looking at blacksmithing, clothing, and woodworking. Metallurgy right here. For metallurgy, stitching, and carpentry, they've added a fourth rank in this that you can add. This right here will reduce research times by 25% research time, and also maximizes your research time to 30 days. So you cannot have anything on research that takes longer than 30 days. You still research 3 items maximum. So it does not give you a 4th item to research. So you're still 3 out of 3, but you're reducing that time by 25%, and you cap your research time at 30 days maximum. Let's see. Enchanting. Enchanting has received a significant rebalancing. First, they've doubled the inspiration gain from the deconstruction and creation of white quality glyphs. They've significantly increased the inspiration gain from all deconstruction and creation of blue, purple, and gold quality glyphs. Deconstruction of glyphs will now result in 3 separate even chances to recover each runestone used to create it. This means you will sometimes receive nothing, but could also recover all 3 runestones. They renamed the enchanting passive Aspect Extraction to Runestone Extraction. Putting points into Runestone Extraction passives provides an increased chance to each independent roll at the runestone recovery. Note, as a result of this change, you will be refunded any points you spent in this passive ability, so you can decide if you wish to reinvest in the new version. And lastly, increased the maximum amount of inspiration that can be gained in single glyph deconstruction of any given skill rank. Under Dungeons and Trials and Delves, oh my god, lots and lots of fixes for this. Again, way too many to go into for Dungeons, Trials, and Delves. Lots of fixes on that. Same thing with Quest. A lot of bug fixes for Quest and things like that. UI, again, tons of fixes for the UI. Patch notes are very, very long for 1.4. And one last thing that I wanted to mention is going to be about the chat system. And I thought this was significant enough to mention because I know some people, you know, they may have this happen to them and may freak out and be like, oh my god, who is this? What is this? Is this real or legit? Under chat, ESO Game Masters, aka GMs, will now have an icon. It's going to be a black box with a Z inside of it that will appear in your game chat window. In addition, their chat text will now be the same color as the channel they are speaking in. So again, if a ZeniMax employee contacts you, they will have a little black box beside of their name with a Z inside of it to let you know it is a ZeniMax employee. So if somebody contacts you trying to say that they're a ZeniMax employee and they don't have that, no, it's not legit. I'm sure that's in regards to, you know, whenever they posted that up a couple months ago about people imitating ZeniMax employees, you know, now the Game Masters will be indicated by that little box with the Z in it. So just get the word out there for you guys that that's what they will look like now. So as always, like I do, you guys out there in Twitch, you have the floor to ask any questions about patch update 1.4. You know, I was doing a little bit of the Dragonstar Arena a few minutes ago before I turned the episode on. You guys seen some of that. But if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask. Mag, Ops, was there anything that was asked while I was in the process of doing all that?
No, really, man.
Didn't see anything.
Everybody just listened.
Alright. We'll give them just a few minutes to ask any questions. For Tony, have they improved stamina-based builds, bank storage space, guild stores, or VR5 Plus leveling experience? I haven't played in some time. These were the major reasons I quit, other than the boatload of bugs and PvP lag. Okay, let's attack those one thing at a time. Stamina-based builds. Yes, they've redone all of the armor. Basically, all set armor has been redone. Every set item now has a 2-set bonus, 3-set bonus, 4-set bonus, 5-set bonus together. They've changed a lot of things with the crafted set bonuses, and quite a few of these are accommodating stamina-based builds as well. Bows, they're very viable now. Dual wield works. Two-handers are working. ZeniMax is still not completely satisfied with where it is, and they're going to be releasing some more statements on stamina-based builds that are going to be making more improvements coming up. And they've also said that in 1.5, that's where the most balance changes to the game is going to take place. They've already stated that 1.5 is going to have the biggest balance changes to the game yet. Guild stores, what they've done with guild stores is they fixed, first off, in Cyrodiil, whenever you claimed a keep and you couldn't interact with a guild store. That's fixed now. So whenever your alliance or whatever takes a keep, if you claim that guild store for that keep, people can interact with that vendor and purchase things off of your guild. They've also added this guild trader, which we will go back up here to town. These guild traders, there is 140 something, 20 something, I don't know. There's over 100 of these things in the world. They're indicated by this right here, this little icon on my map called guild traders. whenever you come up to these things, they're just little merchants. You see this one, Mui, Guild Trader, and then in parentheses is the guild name that owns it, Ruby Mozakin.
Yes.
So I can access this. I can go into the guild store and be able to search, just hitting search. Apparently they don't have any items on their guild store. But, you know, if they had things on this guild store, I could interact with that and purchase items from that guild. You can bid on these
Can I help you?
these traders. I'm not going to go into this window because I don't want people knowing how much gold is in our bank. But you can purchase items from, or bid on these traders, and the way it works is every 7 days it checks the blind bid. It is a blind bid. So the guild masters, they can go in, put a bid on these things for however much money's in their guild store or in their guild bank, and on Monday morning 8 a.m. Eastern time, the system will check all the blind bids, and whoever has the top bid gets that guild's trader for the week. Now, if a guild does not bid on a trader, it will just be blank, and anybody could come up to the guild trader, hire that guild trader for the week, pay 100 gold, whatever, and they get that guild trader for the week. So that's pretty cool that's going on too. That's been very, very positive since they introduced that. Next question, VR 5 plus leveling experience. VR 12 to 14, like I said, it's been reduced. It's still grindy or whatever. It's still going to take some time. They've tried to do some adjustments with things like that. Ultimately, the fix is going to come whenever they bring in the champion system. Whenever they bring that champion system in, it's going to replace the veteran rank system. So that's really where that fix is going to happen. You know, in the meantime, I would say to, you know, just enjoy the game and level as you go. But, you know, a lot of people want to get into the rushing of stuff. So hopefully that answers your questions. Hey guys, he says they've done very little to fix PvP. Yeah, there's been some pretty significant problems with frames and things like that in PvP. A lot of crashes and stuff. You know, they busted their chops for about 3 weeks and got frames back to what they could be playable, but it's definitely not where it needs to be. You know, we was talking about that earlier. They definitely need to work on PvP. Given of the internet, is the VR 14 increase a temporary thing? I thought I had read that they were going to be reverting level cap to 50. Anything after that becomes like an AA system in EverQuest. Yes, that is correct. The veteran rank system will be going away whenever they bring in the champion system. And everybody will be going back to 50 at that point. As far as why they done the VR 14, it's just to accommodate the new content that came out, like Upper Craglorn, the new delves, the new trials, just better leveling, getting up higher. I think that it's got more so to do with the people that may have already gotten to vet rank 12 and quit. You know, whenever they bring in the champion system, how are they going to distinguish, okay, this guy's not done anything versus this guy that's stayed on the whole time? Of course, they said you wouldn't lose any progress, so I don't know, but I think that has something to do with it, with the champion system. Okay, you're champion 14, or veteran rank 14, you're going to get more champion points because you're higher than the vet rank 12. Again, I don't know if that's one primary thing, but their reasoning that they've given is to accommodate Upper Craglorn, the new delves, the new trials, things like that. One-Eyed Wolf, Devatank, I stopped playing ESO about 2 months ago. Been playing Arcade. Did they buff Werewolves? Werewolves is actually going to be getting some significant fixes done to them in future updates. They've got a post there on the forums, I believe, about the Werewolves, talking about, you know, how they're going to change that. Oh, one other thing. I did not talk about what is going to be coming out, the other stuff that's going on. In case you guys did not see it, on the forums earlier this week, sometime, I didn't look at the date, but I think it was Gina Bruno said that Ice Wraith Pets, this is the loyalty program that they announced a couple weeks ago. Ice Wraith Pets are going out next week. So if you have been in the game with a subscription for 3 months total. It doesn't have to be consecutive. If you've played for 3 months, had an active account, I should say, for 3 months, you're going to get an Ice Wraith pet. 6-month rewards are supposed to be coming soon, like whatever we're going to be getting for that. We don't know what it's going to be, but basically it's not consecutive months, like boom, boom, boom. You never skipped a month type thing. It's accumulative. So if you played accumulatively for 3 months, you get the Ice Wraith pet. You play accumulatively for 6 months, you get something else that we don't know what it is, so on and so forth and down the road. Also, one other thing I do want to mention is ESO Live. In case you guys did not see it, last Friday, Elder Scrolls Online did a ESO live stream where Gina Bruno, Jessica Folsom sat down with some of the other developers, just talked about what's in the game, some of the updates, a lot of stuff that's going on in the community, things like that. It's a really cool stream that they do. A lot of good information on that. So you can catch that ESO live on the ZeniMax stream every other Friday. They're doing it every 2 weeks. And it's twitch.tv/Elder Scrolls Online, I believe is what the stream is. But check that every 2 weeks. So this coming Friday is going to be the next ESO Live. So there's actually a poll going on in the forums for what we would like to see for this next ESO Live. So go check that out on the forums as well. Mr. Bigglesworth, did you mention this? You now have the option to respec morphs. This is less expensive than a full respec. That is awesome, and I did not mention that. I completely skipped that. So, yes, Bigglesworth, that is right. You can go back and respec a morph. You do not have to respec everything now. Just go in, tell it which morph you're wanting to respec, and it'll refund those morphs back. Let's see. I'm making my way back down. Hey guys, says they also added a flea collar for werewolf, help with the fleas and ticks. That's great. But Tony, thank you for the follow, man. New follower. Alright, any other questions before I wrap up the episode number 29 ESO recapped? Anything else, guys? That's not bad. Hey guys, says I'm at 230 skill points and it cost me 900 gold to respec all morphs. It's not bad at all. It's much cheaper than spending freaking, what is it, like 10,000, 12,000 for you right now, guys?
$230. It was like 20K.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's
closer
expensive.
to 20K, 15, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive regardless.
It hurt.
Yep. Alright. I believe that's probably got all the questions answered and everything. So hopefully that, is some good information for you guys. I will get this episode uploaded to my YouTube channel in case you tuned in late or anything and you want to rewatch the episode. It'll be on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Devatank. Once again, Maglor, Phi, and Ops. Appreciate you guys hanging out, just monitoring chat just in case people ask the questions. And everybody that's in the stream right now, just sit tight. I'm not even going to stop the stream or anything. I'll just go back and edit it out. We're going to get back into ESO. So that's a wrap for episode number 29, guys.